Welcome to my channel, guys. Make sure you support by liking as well as subscribing if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Alright guys, let's try to make sense once again. So in today's video we are going to look at the production of cerebrospinal fluid as well as the composition of cerebrospinal fluid. So remember what we said when we looked at the ventricles of the brain. So if you haven't watched a video on the ventricles of the brain, I would advise you watch it so that you connect everything. But basically this is what we said. Okay, so we have 4 ventricles of the brain. Okay, so the first 2, they are collectively known as the lateral ventricle. Okay, then we have the 3rd ventricle here and we have the 4th ventricle here. Okay, so these ventricles, they basically produce cerebrospinal fluid. So they consist of a choroid plexus. Okay, so this choroid plexus, it is lined by ependymal cells. The ependymal cells, they are the one which are responsible for secretion of this cerebrospinal fluid. Alright guys, so as you can appreciate from this diagram, the lateral ventricles, they tend to occupy big portion, okay, of these ventricles. Hence they produce about 80 to 90% of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, and then the remaining percentage, about 10 to 20%, it is produced by 3rd and 4th ventricle. Alright guys, so we are done with the production of cerebrospinal fluid. Now let's move to the composition of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so the composition of cerebrospinal fluid, it is somewhat similar to that of a blood plasma as well as the interstitial fluids. Okay, so in terms of the color, the cerebrospinal fluid, it is a colorless fluid, right? Okay, so it is a colorless fluid which is basically slightly alkaline. Okay, in terms of the specific gravity, it consists of 1005 to 1008. Okay, this is the specific gravity of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, take note of this. Okay, so when we compare its substance with the substance which are found within the blood plasma, this is what we have. Okay, so this table just summarizes everything. So this side we have the substances which are found in cerebrospinal fluid as well as in blood plasma. So when we look at the proteins we have about 25 milligrams per 100 mils in cerebrospinal fluid, but when we compare it to the proteins which are found within the blood plasma, we find that we have 600 milligrams per 100 mils. Okay, what about the glucose? So the glucose, in terms of the amount in cerebrospinal fluid, we have 50 milligrams per 100 mils, and here we have in blood plasma we have 100 milligrams per 1000 mils, which is basically half of, in cerebrospinal fluid, the amount of the glucose we have, it is basically half of that amount which is found in blood plasma. Okay, so now let's talk about the chloride. So in terms of the chloride, we have about 120 milli equivalents per liter in cerebrospinal fluid, and here in blood plasma we have 100 milli equivalent per liter, which is slightly lower than the one which is found in cerebrospinal fluid. Alright guys, so this is all what we need to take note when talking about the composition of cerebrospinal fluid. I hope it really made sense. Until next time.